Hey basketball coaches and basketball players, today I'm going to give you some advanced screens that you can use in your next basketball game. Let's get down to the clipboard, let's check these out. Okay, so this first screen is only used in the Horns offense. This is called the Horns Twist screen. So we're going to have a sandwich screen up top. Player 1 is going to decide which way that he wants to go, which screen he wants to use. In this case, he used player 5, so he's going to roll off and go in towards that low post. Obviously, if he's open, that's a simple screen and roll. However, this is going to continue with player 4. Player 1 is going to then use that next screen, and at that point, player 1 can make that decision to take that shot or hit player 4 up with that screen and roll. This next screen is called the Ram screen. Now, with the Ram screen, well, this is going to be with player 2 and player 5, so our shooting guard and our center. What's going to happen is it's basically a screen the screener type of screen. So we're going to have player 2 setting that screen for player 5, so most likely his defender is going to be sagging down just a bit, so he's going to be setting that screen there. Player 5 is going to be using that screen, and now he's going to be setting that screen for player 1. Now, player 2 is going to pop off of that screen. Player 1 is going to use that screen, and now we're going to have player 5 not rolling, no. He's going to be running through that screen, and now what we are looking to have is a pass down to player 5 for the layup or the dunk. However, we may also have an option with player 2 for a shot as well. Now this next screen is done a lot when it comes to swinging the ball around in a triangle offense, or you could also call this a back screen as well, or an off-ball back screen. But basically, we're going to be in the triangle formation. We're going to have the ball on the weak side, technically the strong side. We just have less players on the strong side. Strong side is usually the side that has the ball. However, player 1, which is our point guard, is going to get a back screen from player 5, who is then going to be using that screen, and that should be an open layup or dunk by player 1. Now this is called the shuffle screen. I would personally just call it an off-ball back screen, but this is what they call a shuffle screen. Now this next screen is called the slip screen, and what we're going to be having here is player 5 setting that screen for player 2. Player 2 is going to use that screen. However, we have to remember that player 2, when he sets this or uses this screen, he needs to bring his defender down into player 5, and then he needs to pop up. Now, what sells this really good is if player 1 was to do a fake pass over to player 2. Now player 5 now needs to slip between players 3 and 5. We're hoping for the switch here. And if there is a switch, player 5 should be wide open for an open layup or an open dunk. Now this next screen is a Spain screen. This is also using the Spain action, which occurs when the ball screen setter receives a back screen from another teammate. So for example, what we have here is player 5, he's going to be setting a screen for player 1. Now this doesn't necessarily have to start with a 3-out offense. This could be from a 4-out or also a post player, it doesn't really matter. But basically, we're going to be having player 5 set that screen for player 1. Player 1 is going to be using that screen, and at the same time, player 2 is going to be setting a screen, however this time, for player 5. So now, player 5 is going to be using that secondary screen, and player 1 should be able to hit player 5 for that layup. This is a very effective screen, and if you can teach your players to do this screen with 3 players on the court, so maybe if you have 3 players on one side and then you keep 2 players out on the perimeter on the far side, this could be really effective. So for example, we could have it on this side where player 5 sets that screen for player 1, player 1 goes down into that corner, meanwhile player 2 sets that screen for player 5, player 5 uses that screen, goes down the middle of the key, and player 1 could really hit player 5 up really well for that easy layup. Now I hope that these screens can be used with your team. If they can, that's great. Hit that like button and subscribe. Go check out my Unbeatable and Perimeter Basketball Defense book. Links are down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time.